Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to meet all of you here. Today, I want to share with you the strategic approach to conduct assessment to smart city facilities. My name is A.C. Lin. I'm from Taiwan. And in the past 15 years, I'm providing the cybersecurity services to the critical infrastructure and the smart cities. I also participated in ISA 99 committee to set 62443 standard and Semiconductor Cybersecurity Committee to set the Semiconductor Cybersecurity standard. In my spare time, I'm the 27000 auditor, TSOX, the automotive auditor, and also the open source contributor to contribute the open source around the world. Smart cities. What are the smart cities? Smart grid, smart transportation, smart healthcare, and many more. Most of them belong to critical infrastructure and the operational technology facilities. Let's check the statistic. In Q4, there are 107 incidents in OT, the industrial control system or operational technology sites. Moreover, let's look at the report from INISA. This is the report from INISA from 2023 to 2024. As you can see here, there are over 1K incidents in the public domain and over 1K incidents in the transport. Of course, other sectors, including energy, healthcare, the medical, etc., has the cyber incidents. And therefore, what can we do? How can we reduce the risks? Fortunately, this year, 2025, in January, there is a white paper report issued by US government agencies and Europe agencies. It's about secure by demand. The white paper emphasizes the importance of the selection of the product in the operating site. In this paper, it provides comprehensive methodologies and suggestions to the OT, the asset owner, to choose to purchase the products. So as you can see in the slides, the content emphasizes the buyers should look for manufacturers demonstrate the adoption on secure by design and the 62443 standard. In the IEC web page, it also addressed the horizontal cybersecurity standard. For IT, it's mentioned 27,000. For OT sectors, it's emphasized 62443. To the energy, power, transportation, marine, port, telecommunication, etc. What is the 62443? Why so many government agencies and international standard development organizations mention the 62443? As you may know, the 62443 is the international standard. It covers the rules to asset owner, service provider, and product suppliers. At the beginning, the oil and gas, power manufacturer adopt the 62443. But the 62443 could also be adopted by other sectors, such as medical devices, transportation, marine, the lifts, etc. So it's the really important cybersecurity standard. And nowadays, many sectors, many vertical markets adopted the 62443, either adopt the 62443 directly or use the 62443 as a basic standard and to have the directive cybersecurity standard. The 62443 has 6 categories: in general, policy procedure, system, component, profile, and the evaluation method. For general, it addresses the definition, abbreviation, the rules. For the policy procedure, it provides the security requirement to asset owners, the service providers. For systems, it contains the risk assessment, system capabilities. For components, it contains the SDLC, Secure Product Lifecycle Requirements, and the component security capabilities. For the profiles, it addresses the different sectors' needs, because different sectors, for example, energy, building automation, may have the different needs about the cybersecurity. So in the profile, it contains the different policy, procedure, security capabilities, requirements to different sectors. Last but not least, the evaluation method. It addresses the criteria, how to verify, how to assess the 2-4 and 4-2. This is a basic relationship between the standard, organization, and certification scheme. As you can see here, the ISA, International Society of Automation, sets the 62443 and collaborate with the IEC TC65.G10. We collaborate with each other. We have the joint working group to set the 62443. And we have the certification program. The first one is ISASecure, another is IECE. Those are certification program. What is the certification program? ISASecure is the certification program to bridge the gap between the standard and the implementation. Why? Because the standard addressed what. The standard doesn't address how. It addresses what instead of how. And therefore, sometimes it's pretty challenging to us to make sure we comply with the standards. And this is the ISASecure certification program purpose. We want to bridge the gap between the standard and implementation. The ISASecure was formed by multiple companies from different sectors: oil and gas, building automation, energy, and power. So different companies from different sectors, we stick together to set the certification program. Currently, we have 4 certification programs. First, the SDLA. The SDLA aims to emphasize and to have the criteria to certify the process. The process about secure product lifecycle. Second, the SSA means system security capabilities. It certifies the system capabilities. The third one is the CSA, component security assurance. It certifies the single product, the component. And in 2022, we have the IIoT certification program. It's ICSA. Because in the past, we have the single component, but nowadays, the component can connect to the cloud directly. So we need the additional security control to protect the component. We already have many or process and the product system certification program. Is it enough? We still saw some issues. There are common cybersecurity implementation issues and challenges in the smart city environment. We found that although we have the policy, process, security capabilities to certify those standards, the product, the system, but we still got some issues. Why? Let's see some scenarios. First, smart healthcare. We already have the security capabilities to purchase some products to protect the facility, to protect the site. However, we still got the attack. The reason is that in the operating sites, there's no policies. It's pretty interesting. I have seen many operating sites. No one knows the policies except the consulting firms. But because it's written by them. Only the consulting firms know the policies. So it's a critical issue. Advanced technology without supporting operational policies. Second scenarios, the smart grid management. There is the facility who comply with the cybersecurity standard, and they have the policies. They have the capabilities, but they don't activate the security settings. So they got some cyber attack. This is the example that the policies and technology deployed, but not fully activated. The third case, scenario 3, smart infrastructure. We have the policy in place. We have the security capability in place. But the third-party service provider, they don't know about these things. And therefore, they got the cyber attack. This is an example to address. Policy and technology are in place, but insufficient third-party awareness, especially for the maintenance or the operation service provider. There are third-party service providers that may not understand the current situation. So back to the topic, we want to reduce the risks by using people, process, and the technology. That is the purpose of the ISASecure Automation Control System Site Assessment. The mission of the ISASecure is to have the international consensus certification program to conduct assessments to the operating sites. And therefore, the asset owner could understand the current situation and to protect what they need. The vision of the ISASecure is to collaborate with each other. We can use the report, we can use the results to communicate from the asset owner, service provider, product system supplier, or third-party stakeholders. We have the common languages to the cybersecurity. And those, we consolidated the 62443 standard, as you can see in the left hand. 2-1 is the policy procedure requirement to the asset owner. 2-4 is the policy procedure requirements to the service provider, including integration service provider and maintenance service provider. And of course, the important is that risk assessment 3-2 and 3-3. 3-3 addressed the cybersecurity capabilities in the system. The total number of the standards are 346, quite a lot. And therefore, we consolidated these requirements and to have the evaluation method. We set the criteria, the format, and the results report. We will provide the 3-day training course and licensing agreement. The part inspection and certification I will emphasize later. We provide two methodologies to conduct a site assessment evaluation. Inspection, 70-20, and certification, 70-65. We also have the plan to train the assessor to make sure they have the capability to conduct the site assessment evaluation. Regarding the evaluation criteria and reports, first, initial assessment. In that operating site, the first step is to understand the risk assessment results. And we can review the results and understand how many zones and what is the security level target they want to have. This is the initial assessment. Second, based on the risk assessment results, we will check the asset owner requirement. It's in the 2-1. The policy procedure. For example, the background analysis, the awareness, the related policy and procedure in place. The third, we already have the zone information, scope information, secure level target information, asset owner requirement information. The next step is to analyze the zone requirements. Each zone is different because maybe this zone is more safety critical, so the level will be higher than others. So we analyze the zone and to check the requirements with the 3-3. It's about the security capability in the system. The last, about the service provider. We will assess the service provider status, configuration, policy, procedure are in place or not. These are the evaluation criteria we set for the ISASecure. The next, inspection and certification. We have two methodologies to conduct assessment to the site operation. First, inspection. What is inspection? This is the one-time inspection. So the assessor goes to the operating site, goes to the smart city facility, and conduct the inspection. This is one time, and that's it. The asset owner will receive the report and understand their current status about the policy, procedure, security control, capabilities, risk assessment results. 70-20, ISO 70-20. And we also have certification model. It belongs to 70-65, ISO 70-65. For the certification scheme, it's a 3-year validate certificate. Every year, the assessor will revisit the operating site, the facility, to make sure everything is in place. So that's quite different. For the inspection, just one time and have the report. That's it. For the certification, we will reassess every year. And the maturity, at least, is 3. But for the inspection, you can choose maturity level 1. That's a big difference. And different operating sites, different smart city facility is unique. And therefore, each operating site will have its own assessment plan. We will conduct the assessment plan and conduct the assessment afterwards to make sure the policy, procedure, configuration, the settings, the related third party are ready for the cybersecurity protection. Both models use the unified criteria. The difference about inspection just one time, and you can choose maturity level 1. But for the certification, it's a 3-year certificate. So we will revisit the operating site every year. And the maturity at least level 3. The ISASecure is planned to launch this year, Q2 or Q3. For the training course, it's important to the assessor because we want to make sure the quality of the evaluation results. We will provide the assessor's training. It's a 3-day training to let the assessor has the consistent concept and evaluation method to conduct ISASecure. Next step. We think maybe the next step is to have the different sectors ISASecure criteria. Power, energy, transportation, telecommunication, marine, oil and gas, etc. Different sectors might have the different risks and the needs. So ISASecure may have the different profile for that. Let's have the summary. The problem is not the standard. It's about how to implement the standard. It's about how to down to the earth. Second, the problem is not the technology. It's about role and the responsibility. In many cases, the responsible person, he or she doesn't know how to configure the technology, how to enable the technology to protect the system, to protect facility. Policy are not just documents. They are supported by variable processes. Cybersecurity is not the paper, the report. Many, asset owners, they are pretty happy with the certificate. But in that time, I will tell them, the cybersecurity is not about the paper. It's not about the certificate. It's about how to become the part of the everyday operation concept. It's quite important. So this is an example how to integrate, how to consolidate the site assessment to protect the smart city facilities, the OT or ICS operating sites. First of all, you have to define the scope and then conduct a risk assessment to identify which risks you may have, which assets you want to protect. After that, starting the protection, maybe security control, maybe policy procedure, maybe the physical control. After that, you could have the site assessment to make sure the policy, procedure, the settings, the security controls are in place, are really secure to protect your facility. Last but not least, continuously monitoring. This is not a one-off action. We have to protect the smart city facilities and operating sites continuously. Site assessment does not eliminate all risks, but it helps we protect and write things. This is my presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any question, feel free to reach me after the section. Thank you.